How's everybody doing? So I just want to do a real quick video, even though they usually go on a little bit longer, but just did a water change on this 55 gallon last night, and it's looking a lot clearer than it's been looking in a long time. So before I go through and show you the fish and everything, because it is just jam-packed, I'm ready to sell some Plecos and Guppies. I don't really say it in a while because I've stopped shipping fish, but if you're in the PA area, like south of Pittsburgh, that's kind of the area I'm from. If you're anywhere around there, I'm still selling fish just locally. I'm not shipping them. So if you're ever willing to drive out here and pick some up, or I can meet you, definitely shoot me a comment below and I'll try to get back to you guys. But let's go ahead and take a look at this tank. We'll get a little closer. I got some algae wafers here. I always feed these in the morning and night for the Plecos. And by the end of this video, they should be all over the place. So a lot of fancy guppies in this tank, and they'll start getting a little bit more active with some food in the tank and they can smell it. The Plecos will start coming out. A lot of cool different varieties. This guy right here is nice. We have a long fin common male Bristlenose that just swam back on that heater. Over here we have, I mean, they're just all over the place on every square inch of the tank. Nice female here. If you ever didn't know the difference from a male or female, that black common one is a female. You can tell by her size and just her thickness, and also how long she is, and she has no bristles. That guy's kind of hiding behind her. So that's a good example of an adult female. Same with the one behind there, it'd be another female. And then the males can vary, but they do have the bristles. So a lot of these here could be females or just juveniles. This one in the back, that long fin, see, that's something that's a little bit harder to tell. That could definitely be a male long fin, even though his bristles aren't very defined. It's one of those things kind of just over time of seeing the fish and working with them. You kind of can tell a male from female, but there are definitely some definite traits that some will show more than others. Let me find you a definite male. Like back here against the glass, even though we always fight the glare, that's a male right there. Male common, he's larger. And I found that the adults can go anywhere from 3 to 4 inches up to like 6 to 8 inches. I've had some, I mean, not considering the long fins, but I've had some very large Plecos. Part of it's from age, so the older they get, they will keep growing a little bit. There's a nice male there. But some Plecos, especially like the super reds and the lemon blue eye strains, I've noticed they don't get quite as large. So a lot of those things are just like genetics with any other animal or fish, that they will kind of play a role in there. So you can breed for different sizes, but see, the Plecos are all starting to kind of swarm up here. I'll try to spot out. Here we have like an albino. You can see with the pinkish red eyes. This would be a lemon blue eye. You can see its eyes are not red. You'll get a little bit more of the yellows in there. Just your standard common, you'll get different patterns. You can breed for different patterns and things like that, how dark they are. You definitely can get varieties in there. Some of my long fin, so this would be the big guy back there, and I'm kind of jumping around. That would be a common long fin, and sometimes the tips of their fins will be like white. So that's another color trait I've found over time. Here we have a calico, or some people call them like a red marble. So this one's more of a mix, kind of closer to a super red, but some will have black like marbling and then red behind, so it's kind of like a Dalmatian almost to an extent. Keep looking through, this would be like an albino long fin. You can see the different coloration there versus like the more whitish pink versus you get some of these yellows. So that's another cool one if you like more of the whites in there. It's all preference too. I mean, they're all cool fish and they all can breed together and they can interchange. Whether they throw mixed colors or they throw commons, like that's kind of part of the fun of the genetics in my opinion. If you breed two fish that are the same color, you're more likely than not to get the same color coming out. But you also don't know if they were bred prior, if they were crossbred. And I kind of like having my pairs that even if I have two commons breed, or if I have a common and an albino breed, sometimes I'll get calicos and reds and stuff because I have a long history of breeding these fish, and I've crossbred some intentionally to get different traits. But that's mostly the strains I have in this tank, and I'm really just displaying the fish, kind of talking while I'm going, just to kind of just tell you guys maybe stuff you already know, but people who don't, they just like to watch this stuff, because I know I enjoy watching these videos of other people's tanks as well. I get a little bit of information in there. With my Plecos and Guppies, my favorite plants and the easiest plants for kind of like a breeding for profit tank would be your Java moss or any type of mosses really, and I've even had it here floating up. It gets kind of caught on a cord or something once it starts growing and it's not moving around. it'll kind of be like an island, so it's pretty cool. I do have some duckweed in here, but I just pulled out a whole bunch, which is why the tank is so much clearer today. And then we have some of this floating wisteria. It's similar to like a water sprite. I actually have some over in my angelfish tank here. I'll give you a better example. So here you can see I've planted some down below, and then mostly it likes to float. It does better with a sponge filter, not a hang-on filter. Same with duckweed. Whenever it gets moved around constantly, it doesn't really have a place to settle and grow. And these guys have been spawning off in the corner and breeding, so actually, I'll throw a little clip in there. I took a video a couple weeks ago, but they ended up eating the babies, but it was the first time I've had free swimming angelfish babies in a tank with the parents. So it was a pretty cool experience, especially with other fish. So it wasn't even just a pair in a tank. They raised them for a while, so I'm debating on putting them in, whether I just move them to their own 55. I have a couple other ones I could set up, or I have customers that would be maybe interested in just doing a pair and let them raise the fish. I think it'd be really cool to having a 75 gallon or a 55 gallon and let these guys breed and try to raise up their babies like all the way through and see how many you come out with. I think that'd be really neat. I think this these guys are actually trying to breed on this heater over here. You see them kind of cleaning the slate, and this guy's getting a little jealous. Excuse me, but we'll back up to the other tank. I just want to show the way these plants can look in a tank. So in here I got the Bristlenose. They're all going nuts down there. And I will throw a link for that food because it took me a while to find a good Pleco food that was affordable to use when you're feeding this many Plecos. So I always like to throw some links down there for you guys. It helps me out if you use them, but it's not a big deal. It's trying to help you guys out. But we got the moss in here, the Java fern, I believe that is back there, real slow growing, but really easy growing once it gets set up. And then we have the wisteria and some duckweed, which are all great places for the babies to hide, and it will grow. You can sell it to your pet stores and stuff, just to kind of add to the tank. And it's pulling nitrates out, and it just adds a natural look, and it keeps the water healthier. So all of this tank has so many benefits of fish helping each other out and plants helping each other out. The fish waste is feeding the plants. The plants are giving a place for the babies to hide. There's so many benefits to it, but let's go ahead and look at some of the guppies and we'll wrap this video up. But the tank was just looking so good tonight when I came home from work. I had to show it off a little bit. So a lot of nice big females in here, and you guys can kind of just look around for yourself. But different traits I've been going for. I always like having the females with longer fins, especially if they're squared off in the back, kind of get that delta tail, like this big one right there. She's older, so her back's starting to get crooked from just having babies. She has good genes, but she's just an older fish. But she was easy to kind of spot. So if you can get like the half black, any of the color coming up the body, that's nice. If you can get a longer top fin or side fins, that's a plus. Any extra color in those fins as well is a plus. And these are preferences, but mostly that's kind of the way I think this fish should be bred. Sometimes for a specific color, but mostly body shape and color. There's a lot of different factors, whether it's if it's straight back, looking from the side, looking from above, if their spine or like their tail is real skinny. Like this one's got a normal sized tail in the back. Not the actual like fins, but the body going into the fins. And that's gonna be better to look at some of the males here, where I could find some good and bad examples of things that you're looking for. This guy's got a nice long fin on top, so he kind of trails back. Its back fins are pretty squared off. And then you have something like this. He's kind of like a delta tail, but he's got some rips in the tail. Could be from nipping or something like that. Let's see if I can get... He kind of got away to the corner. But things like that, like this yellow half black, he's got the black body. They call it like a tuxedo sometimes. Even they give a little color on the top of their head. They call that like a steelhead. He doesn't have much of it, but he's got some nips in his fin, maybe from females, but maybe just from poor genetics. So that's something over time. If you're gonna start a new tank and pull out your best males and females, things you wanna look for. But this tank I've been breeding just for nice color and good body shape and just healthy, hardy fish. I've let these tanks go before with good plants and everything, keeping like a heater and everything in there, but I've gotten them down to like 76 degrees, which is a little bit on the cooler end. And I've gone, not proud to say it, but probably 2 months or 3 months before, which isn't sustainable for long term. But I did a big water change and I didn't lose any fish. So that's kind of my intention. Every once in a while, I'll put these fish through a little bit of, I guess, hard times. Sometimes it's a little bit more convenient, but also I've done water changes daily, weekly, and sold fish to pet stores. And then, this is a nice female here. And then the fish won't do well in their stores because their nitrates are a little bit higher. It's just not a sustainable tank for your average customer. So people buying the fish, they're not doing weekly water changes. Not to say you shouldn't or you can, but when you're breeding a fish, it's more of your responsibility. This guy's awesome. I found him the other day. I'll keep zooming in on him. But it's your responsibility to make nice fish and also something that is going to do well for other people. These fish weren't always kept super sterile with UVs and everything. They used to be bred outdoors in ponds and all those things, and they still do. Even angelfish and things like that. But sometimes we get these fish that get too delicate and then they're not really good for themselves or anybody else. They're always sick. They're not really thriving. Let's try to find this male. I'm trying to go back and forth. He's got the most random colors, the weirdest fins, but he just is so cool, I think. So that's nothing, just preference. Someone may say I don't like that fish at all, but I just think his color, if he can slow down for us. He's got like a little bit of cobra on his siding. He's got the orangish red tail, his top fin super long. He just got some personality, and I've had guppies for almost all my life, so a good 10, 15, almost 20 years now. Keeping these fish, and he's just unique. It's like a snowflake. That's why I think guppies are so cool. You get so many different fish in a short period of time without spending tons of money. So just really neat. Wanted to show you guys this tank. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to see more, let me know. I know I haven't been posting much recently, but with all the things I do, I started this channel with an intention of kind of sharing the journey and giving cool updates that I thought I'd like to share. So if I don't have anything new at the time to share, I usually won't. But today I thought the tank was looking nice. There's a lot of good, healthy fish in here. Figured I'd show you guys before I go ahead and sell some of these. But thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to put some links on this page right here if you want to watch my older videos. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up, comment below. If you're not already subscribed to the channel. It doesn't cost you anything and it does help me out. But thank you all. Have a good night. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you guys soon.